It's a one of a kind. But before we go too far, let me just introduce myself and the show. It's your boy God Chow, first of his name. You're watching the What's Packing Sports Show, and today I have on a very special guest. It just says Michael, the Bears fan, because he is Michael. I don't think you have you're not like active on social media or none of that kind of shit, right?
No,
Yeah.
past like 2 3 years I've been a closet Bears fan. We had that spark in 2018, and after that, it's been downhill from there on.
You
So
came out for a second and then you looked around and you said fuck this and you went back into hiding.
yeah, exactly.
Hey man, look, no judgment here. No judgment here. I know it's kind of tough being a Bears fan. We can't all be Packers fans, you know. We can't all be so
Oh
lucky.
God.
We can't all be so lucky. But hey, the luck doesn't always spring eternal. If you haven't heard yet, last night the Green Bay Packers suffered a very, very critical, important loss to the season. David Bakhtiari tore his ACL in practice yesterday and is going to miss the remainder of the 2020 season, which is devastating news for us, for Packers fans. I'm sure you quietly are like, "Oh, my Bears!" I mean, it sucks for him to be injured, but hey, look, I know, man. You trying not to even laugh.
No, I don't wish any injuries on anyone.
Uh,
Uh,
I know.
I mean, a Bears fan, I'm rooting for you guys, but it's might have a chance. We might Khalil Mack and Khalil Mack might show up.
Hey, that's definitely that side, man. And if you guys, whoever's just tuning in, it's your boy God Chow, first of his name. This is the What's Packing Sports Show. I'm here with a very special guest today, my boy Mikhail, all the way from the land of Chicago, but he's in California right now. That's where I met him. But he's a Chicago native. He's a big Super Bears fan, as you can see. God, hey, and we're live on Twitch, like I said, and on YouTube. So we're gonna have some people streaming in throughout the day. So my man Country Logic 16 said, "God Child, what's up? What's up, Country Logic? Happy New Year to you." Look, my man Michael here. We met each other back in what 2017, man, right? And we started kind of like talking.
We really bonded over this rivalry, pretty
We,
much.
and we and
That's
we
how good.
yeah, I mean we bonded over the rivalry, and we found out well actually we started talking, and we were like big Packers. We were big sports fans. We found out. What's up, Michael? Also, fuck Chicago. You owe us 2016 World Series. Fuck rain delays. I don't know. We got my man Country Logic 16. He's hating on Chicago's already. I love to see it. It says I need to raise your volume up a little bit. How can I? I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can manipulate your volume though.
Well, I'm using the desktop
Okay,
mic, so
the desktop
I'm
mic. It
very
might not be
happy
the.
with that.
Yeah. Hey, what? We'll make it. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work. But yeah, man. As I was saying, what was I saying before? Yeah, so we found out that we were huge football fans, and then one day I don't know if it were you wearing your Bears jersey or I came out wearing my Packer stuff, and then we discovered that after we had already kind of became friends and like huge football heads, we discovered that we were like rivals. But you couldn't. It was already we were already connected at this point. So it's like nothing could tear us apart. We've been good friends ever since, even though we're on two separate coasts now. But with the Packers Bears rivalry, 201st edition coming up this weekend, a lot to play for. I figured, with what better time than ever to get my old buddy Mikhail, the Bears fan, to get him on his show, man. So I'm glad you had some time. You got your coffee. You look like you're ready to go. You got your coffee. I got my mug. So, man, thank you for
Yep.
joining the show, man. Welcome to the show. Everybody give Michael a round of applause. All right, look. So, look, man, we can jump right into it. I already kind of previewed it. I figured we had a couple topics we could discuss today. We got the Bears Packers matchup. Then we have, we could do the keys to the game, people you're looking for to see, eventual out outcome. Then we could talk about the NFL expansion to this now new 14-team playoff, as opposed to what the 12 teams they had last year. And I also wanted to get your take on the MVP race, the defense MVP, offensive player of the year, how you think the rookies have been so far. And then we could even talk looking forward, like year in review, the total year for the Packers and the Bears, and then maybe looking forward to next year. So we got 4 topics. We got a lot to get into, so we're not going to waste any more time. But except for, again, I'm going to just say, if you haven't heard last night, Packers fans or other football fans, the Green Bay Packers suffered a terrible injury. David Bakhtiari will be missing the remainder of the 2020 season towards ACL. But I guess there was a little silver lining, is the Packers were able to pick up a free agent, Damon Snacks Harrison, who was a guy that Packers fans were kind of intrigued about.
Oh, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, the defensive tackle. He played for a couple of different teams, but he was on Seattle for a second, and then Seattle, they kind of let him go. And I even tweeted out, I was tweeting some trash after, because he tweeted like before he signed with anybody, it's between Green Bay and Seattle, basically. And then Green Bay fans and Seattle fans were like, come on, come to us, come to our team. And then when he finally picked the Seahawks, I was like, oh, fuck you. You picked the loser ass. That's why you're a loser, because you picked that loser. You picked the wrong franchise. And then he gets cut, and now the Packers pick him up. So I want to apologize, Mr. Snacks Harrison. I called you a loser when all in all, the universe had other plans. The universe knew that you were, in fact, a winner, sir. And that's why you ended up on the Packers after being picked up off waiver wires. But to just get into this 201st rivalry, oldest rivalry in sports, Green Bay, Chicago. I mean, what more can you say, man? It is the oldest rivalry in sports. Is it still the best rivalry in sports, you think?
I think a lot of Bears fans are actually more realistic. Those fans who are really vocal about this rivalry and really still consider it a rivalry. I feel like lately Steelers and Ravens were like more relevant, and I wish it was more competitive. And if you look at the win totals on both sides, I think you guys are at like 100 wins and we're at like 95. So we're talking about like 5-game difference between like the 100-year-old two charter franchises.
Yeah, no, for sure.
As a Bears fan, I want this to be more. I want both teams to be up more on the equal playing field. But lately, I would say the last 2 decades, it's really been the Packers who've been running the show. And I'm realistic enough. There's a meathead inside of me who wants to kind of shit on the Packers, but just realistically, statistically, win percentage wise, I think the Packers been kind of owning us lately. And
hey,
just go from the Brett Favre era.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Towards the tail end of Brett Favre's era, we did.
You had some games. Lovie Smith came in there. He kind of cleaned things up. He had the Tampa 2 going. You had Urlacher and Peanut, and you guys had some competitive games there. I mean, you had the one year, which makes this year really this is what makes this game very interesting, is because if fans remember, in 2010, the Chicago Bears, they were sitting atop the division. They were feeling good, and they had their little 12-4 season or whatever it was. And Urlacher and the Chicago Bears, they had played host. I want to say they hosted us, if I'm correct, in the last game of the season. And the Packers, we were just a little team that could. We were just hoping and praying and needing like all these different scenarios to play out just so we could stumble ourselves into the playoffs at 10-6, and we won. We beat the Bears in their home field. And after the game, Brian Urlacher, somebody asked him, he was being interviewed. They said, Urlacher, do you think that this was a playoff type of game? And Urlacher, he arrogantly said, no. This team is barely getting in the playoffs. They might not even make the playoffs. They still need, he basically answered it. He kind of answered it like that. And I was like, okay, motherfucker. All right. You that's how you feel about it, Mr. Urlacher? We got in, and then what happened? What happened? NFC Championship game in Chicago. Big BJ Raji interception for a touchdown. Packers, we came out, we handled business, and we went to our first Super Bowl in almost like since 1995. 1996, I'm sorry. 97, oh my God, I'm tripping. 1997, 96, 97 was Favre back-to-back Super Bowl appearances.
I'm pretty sure the Bears fans are living through this nightmare. That was probably the hardest loss that I've taken ever, because it was
as a fan.
It was the NFC Championship to begin with.
Right.
And Jay Cutler goes down with his finger, and then you have to deal with Caleb Haney. Packers mediocre defense at the time. And,
well, it was. Hey, our defense actually wasn't that bad that year. Our defense was actually a top 10 unit. We were number 2 scoring defense, but as they say, as I like to say, as it is well known, divisional games are different. Even no matter if you play in regular season, playoffs, the divisional games that you can throw the records out, you can throw the stats out. A lot of times it just comes down to turnovers, and it just comes down to, I guess, really who's hot that day, man. And that day, Packers were able to win the turnover battle. We got points off turnovers, and we were the hot team. We rode that hot ending through the playoffs to the Super Bowl. But this year, could it be the Bears with an opportunity to turn the tables on the Packers? And Country Logic 16 said, "Oh, shout out BJ Raji. He wants him to come back. He retired, man, a couple years ago to handle some family business. But look, this is what I'm seeing right now. Look at the Bears. The scenario is reversed. The Packers have been that team that's hot all year, 13-3, maybe back-to-back years. They're sitting at 12-3 right now. They've got the number 1 offense. They got a top 10 defense. They got the MVP potentially in Aaron Rodgers. They have maybe the offensive player of the year in Devontae Adams, who's having a career season, who's putting up career numbers all across the board, doing things that not many players in the history of the NFL have done. Sitting right there at the precipice of 18 touchdowns. Devontae Adams is having a stellar all-pro season. But here come the Bears. Winners of their last 4.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I think we won 4 straight.
4 in a row after
Mitch came back.
After starting 3-0 and then 4-0. Benching Trubisky halfway through a really bad quarter. Then they're able to pull off one against Tampa Tommy with the old Big Dick Nick, as they like to call him. Big Nick energy. He pulls off one against Tampa Tommy. And everyone's thinking, oh, look at the Chicago Bears. Don't look now, but maybe the Bears are going to win the division. And then we know they go on an epic, 5-game skid, 6-game skid. They lose all these games in a row. They really shit in the bed. And then something happens to Foles, whatever it is. Maybe he just played bad. And Nagy, he says, okay, let's go back to Mitch. Let's go, Mitch. I'm sorry. Take me back. Take us back, Mitch. We want you back, Mitch. We want you back, Mitchell. Mitchell, come back. He's got the boom box and everything outside of Mitch's house. And he's playing the song to get Mitch Trubisky back. And Mitch says, hey, man, I'll come back. Tactical Spud 99, what's going on? Thank you for joining the stream. And now you guys have won 4 in a row with Mitch Trubisky. Offense is like scoring 30-something points a game. You guys are hot again. And look at the Bears riding a hot streak, and they have to win to get in. They got to win to get in. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're previewing this Week 17 matchup, 201. The Packers do currently lead the series 100-95-6. A lot of those, it was very lopsided, as a matter of fact, through the 70s and the 80s, as you know. Well, I mean, as people know, you know, the Bears, that was when they were in their Super Bowl year, and they were riding high. And the Packers, man, they took a massive, they walked off the cliff, basically, talent and just coaching and everything. And the dark ages were in the 70s and the 80s, and for about 20 years. And the Bears and the whole fucking division just took us for a ride. And everyone started piling up the wins and shit after the Packers was dominating in the 50s and the 60s and the 40s and the 20s, in the 19s, because they've been around since 1919. Teams finally got their chance to get some payback, but now maybe the Bears, after being the big brothers, after being equal, right? They were kind of on equal footing, and then they kind of took then the Packers had a bunch of championships. Then the Bears kind of came back, and now the Packers have been back on top for the last 20 years, basically. But now the Bears, man, do you think the Bears can well, let's save that for then. Let's save that for then. But let me just ask you, over the last 4, we're going to ask whether he thinks the Bears can win or what the outcome's going to be. I'm going to save that for the end. We can build up some suspense to it. If I had commercial breaks, this is where I cut the one right here, but I don't have commercial breaks. But let me ask you, as a Bears fan, what have you noticed in these last few games that has been the difference for this team as far as winning and losing?
I mean, to recap this whole season so far, it's been a roller coaster ride for sure. Because you can tell that Matt Nagy wanted to run his Kansas City Chiefs offense for the longest time. That's why I feel like it wasn't a good fit for the personnel that we had. That's why our 2019 season, even with our top 10, possibly top 5 defense, we were 8-18 because Matt Nagy just refused to adjust the offense to the strength of this personnel. And as soon as Mitchell Trubisky threw that interception in the Falcons game in Week 3, he benched him. I could tell that Matt Nagy just wanted to go with Nick Foles.
Yeah.
And run it spread Kansas City Chiefs offense with flashy plays, with deep throws. But it hasn't worked out. Our offensive line sucked. We don't have a personnel for that. I feel like with our limited quarterback plays, we just have to rely on our running game, and I felt like that was lacking a lot in our offensive system. So after losing five straight games, I believe, Matt Nagy finally decided to give up the play calling.
Oh, hold on now.
The plays, and our offense looks a lot like the ones that you see with the Titans or the Vikings, and we're moving Mitchell Trubisky out of the pocket, and we're running a lot more than we used to.
So let me ask you, Mike, real quick. You mentioned 2 things right there that I thought were interesting. And I'll start. The first, you said, so Nagy gave up the play calls.
Yeah, so I was like one of those fans that was clamoring for his job.
Yeah.
NFL, like we said in the beginning, it's a week-to-week league, and really you just have to your strategies, your schemes to get that W every week. And I feel like Matt Nagy wasn't doing what it was necessary. He was keep running. He kept running Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
We can recreate his kind of magical season with the Belichick and the Patriots.
Yeah, but you're not Bill Belichick. That's the difference.
Exactly, and you're not Andy Reid.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Matt Nagy's a good coach. I'm not. The thing is, it's more complicated than that. But I want Matt Nagy to be able to adjust because the defense has been adjusting to his offense, and his offense hasn't been working. So, we were actually moving the ball pretty well when we got into the I formation and just pounding the ball in the middle, or run Montgomery like 30 times, and he gets better as it goes. So. Yeah, Matt Nagy was being very stubborn, and he finally gave up the play call.
And who's calling the plays now?
Bill Lazor.
Bill Lazor, okay.
Yeah, he used to be the offensive coordinator with the Bengals.
Oh, okay.
I think he got fired. So
yeah.
Off here, and Matt Nagy brought him in. But the Bears fans were saying before even the season began, it's like, what's the point of being the offensive coordinator with the Bears, knowing that Matt Nagy is just gonna control everything?
And
so
go ahead. My bad. I'll let you finish that.
I mean, who really wants to come to Chicago when you know that you're just coming there pretty much as a Matt Nagy's assistant and not really, even if you have the offensive coordinator title, can you really be an offensive coordinator? So that was the biggest question. You see Matt Nagy every week with his Denny's menu, and his just
You said he got
running
the
plays.
Denny's menu, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, even if I was the offensive coordinator, I wouldn't want to come to the Bears. Knowing that Matt Nagy has full control over the offense, and it's been Matt Nagy's product for the last 2.5 years until kind of Bill Lazor took over and started running more traditional NFL offense with relying on the running plays and booting Mitchell Trubisky out of the pocket and make him either run or I feel like the offense has been a lot more efficient in that sense.
All right, and the second thing you mentioned was Nagy wanted to switch to Foles to run his offense, but it seems to me like that's not really Foles' game. The offense that he was running, the offense he was running seems to it seems to me that that was more of Trubisky's game. Getting out the pocket, moving. And somebody mentioned in the chat, what do you think about the two quarterback system that Brian Flores is running in Florida, in Miami? And it kind of like ties to this question here with the whole Nagy Trubisky versus Foles situation. It's like maybe they could have ran a two quarterback system or something. But to me, I feel like Mitch was always the better option for the very fact that at least he gives you an element that's hard to predict, which is his ability to get outside the pocket and make plays with his legs when things break down, and when there's like a maybe nothing is open, or they just need a spark. Mitch provides that. So I thought I was really shocked that they moved away so fast because he had started out 3-0. And yeah, he had one
Right.
bad half, but it's like, it's one half. Everyone has a bad half. Shit, Rodgers has had fucking 6 bad halves this year. He's had a couple himself, and he's playing like MVP. So it just seemed unrealistic. How would you have felt if the Bears did like a two quarterback system? Because I mean, I don't really like the two quarterback system. Just to answer the tactical spud question, what do I think about the two quarterback system? I think that's something that you do when you have a quarterback like Tugga Tuivasa coming off an injury on a shortened off season, not able to really get all the practice you would like him to see leading up to a regular season. Get him some reps and to get him some exposure to real NFL defenses, going at 100%, and get him caught up to the game speed, because that's what players always say. The biggest difference between the college game and the pros is the speed of the game. So if you can get a guy, kind of caught up to speed, or let him get some experience with that in his rookie year, while still bringing in your veteran at times, like when he's struggling. And I kind of like what he's doing. I don't like it overall, but I like how Flores has handled it in Miami. Tua struggles, I don't let him struggle for the whole game. I don't wait till he's confidence is fully shot. I feel like I know my quarterback well enough to know his physical makeup. Yeah, I
You
know,
know when
man.
to
And,
pull him
and,
out.
he pulls him out, and he said at the very least my veteran is going to do no worse, and let's just see if the veteran, and then you kind of get the change up, right? It's kind of like a change of pace quarterback. Change of pace back, but for quarterbacks. But I mean, ultimately I think you want to have the one guy be the guy. But let me ask you, I mean, how did you feel about the Foles Trubisky thing? Did you want him to switch? Did you understand the switch? Would you have been okay if they kept Trubisky involved, maybe at least 10 to 15 times a game on boot actions or reaction, or just in the red zone?
I think Trubisky. I was thinking about Taysom Hill and over in with the Saints. The way um, you know Sean Payton likes to put him in sometimes to. He rarely throws, but it's been effective for them. So I'm not completely against the two quarterback system. It's just that Mitchell Trubisky is not as good as Taysom Hill when it comes to like his running ability. So for me, like I wish hindsight's 2020. So looking back, I wish the Bears kind of focused more around Mitchell Trubisky and built the offense around Mitchell Trubisky and we kind of began the season running the ball more and it looked more efficient. But I think our offense had to just kind of rely on the stability of the line, and I feel like our line was limited in providing what Matt Nagy wanted to run.
Yeah.
From the time he got to the Bears, he wanted to run that spread offense. It'd be flashy like the Chiefs,
No,
and
the Chiefs.
he even said it in the press conference that he's not here to run I formation. When they're asked about
Wow.
how Montgomery was much more efficient running the ball out of I formation than just shotgun formation, and it hasn't worked. So for me, I mean, I'm not getting paid millions of dollars to run the
Yeah,
offense,
exactly.
but as a fan's perspective, just be efficient.
Yeah.
We couldn't watch the Bears losing the game because we couldn't, like, against the Eagles last year, we had like 9 yard total offense in the first half in 2019. Like we dealt with this since like the second half of 2018, and Matt Nagy wasn't successful last year. And once he switched to Foles, the offense wasn't efficient again. So I kind of initially liked the that Foles came in because
Yeah.
we won that game,
Mhm.
but if we're struggling constantly trying to run, and there's no rhythm to that offense, there's no efficiency to that offense, there's no production from that offense. I wanted Matt Nagy to quickly move on and do the things that work with the personnel that we had, and that's really up to him to figure it out. I'm just glad that he was able to just give up the play calling because that's what everyone kind of wanted because his play call was horrendous on top of our kind of limited offensive personnel. So
Well, and this is the interesting thing about that is I thought the whole point. Excuse me, I was coughing on the mic. Hope I didn't blow anybody's ears out. But the interesting thing about that is like that was the reason you bought him in. I thought like he was supposed to be this offensive genius, and he was supposed to be this descendant of big man in Kansas City, Andy Reid, and he's supposed to be like a quarterback guru and help. He helped Mahomes develop and all this other kind of shit. So it was like, oh, perfect. We got Trubisky, but like you said, he didn't really pan out. So, I mean, it's like, do you want to? And we're kind of looking. I wanted to preview the whole game and then sort of get into the year in review. So let's put a bookmark on that. That's about how you feel. You can. I'm sure you have lots of feelings about Nagy, lots of feelings about this season. But I did want to get into some more of the preview. So, coming, you said the offense has been better because Nagy isn't calling the plays anymore. Do you guys been running? Who's your Montgomery, right?
yeah,
Montgomery's been running the ball more. I mean, Robinson, I guess, has been catching the ball. Like, who has been on the Bears this weekend when the Bears, is the Packers going to Chicago, right? Or it's going to Chicago? So when the Packers coming to town, who are we going to be looking at this week that's gonna change? That's changed since I guess our first matchup earlier in the season when the Packers won pretty convincingly, if I'm not gonna lie. What's changed for you guys? Who are we gonna be looking at? Who are you excited to see? Maybe try to have a better game this time around.
I mean, Roquan Smith's been very underrated. If you actually kind of, he's up there with the tackles, and he's been very efficient. Yeah, he's a rising superstar for us. Although he's not getting the Pro Bowl, I feel like he got snubbed in the Pro Bowl. But I'm excited to see Roquan Smith and the defense, honestly, and I think it's really up to the defense because our defense hasn't been elite. I
Yeah,
feel like maybe Chuck Pagano tends to be a little more conservative, and I feel like doesn't have the edge like Vic Fangio once had in 2018. Because everyone's production's been down for the last 2 years, and
yeah,
I know 2018 was kind of a abnormal year for the defense, having that many turnovers and that much like sack production. Overall, we can't expect that same kind of production every year in year out, but the defense been slipping. I feel like the defense was good up until like the halfway point of this season, but the last 4 games, if you notice, the defense has been kind of giving up, and we need to kind of get back to where we're constantly pressuring the quarterback. And I feel like without I feel like if we can pressure Aaron Rodgers with four man rush, I don't think we have a chance. I think
I
Khalil
mean,
Mack and Hicks that those guys need to pressure Rodgers,
Hicks is
and
healthy.
we do a good job covering Devontae Adams because he's having a crazy year. And our rookie was starting next to Kyle Fuller. He's injured, so
Oh
we
wow.
have backups in. And but the thing is, Kyle Fuller tends to stay only on one side, so
Okay.
I feel like Green Bay can do some creative things by moving Devontae Adams around, and they have been very successful at it. So it's really about how we can, you know. So the defense overall has kind of question marks all over the place. We're kind of leaky on the rush defense, and then we have a handful with Devontae Adams having such a great year. So pressuring Rodgers, covering Devontae Adams, I would say is the key for us.
Doesn't and you made some good points. It's interesting that the defense, as soon as the offense kind of got their act
Yeah,
together, the defense. What is it about NFL teams? Like it seems like no, it's like offense and defense can never just be at their best. It's like if the offense is playing really good, something's up with the defense, and you're like, man, we just had an offense, or we just had a defense, and it's like if the defense is spectacular, it's always something with the offense. You're like, man, if we just had an offense, it's like very few times have teams been like number one or like top three or top five in both categories, and even still, like I remember the year Packers '97, I want to say they were number one in both, and they fucking lost to the Broncos, so it didn't even matter. But but the but the and that's been some topic around Twitter that I've seen this debate between Zadarius Smith versus Khalil Mack. And the last 2 years, man, Zadarius Smith, he has outperformed Khalil Mack these last 2 seasons. And a lot of people are going to say, well, it's not just 2 years. But before then, Zadarius, he was sharing time. He wasn't the main guy in Baltimore. He was behind Terrell Suggs and some other guys. But now he's getting 90+% of the snaps a year. Zadarius Smith, man, he's got double digit sacks years back to back. He might have a chance if he can have a monster game against you guys this weekend. He can maybe even top his total or match his total from last year with 13.5. He doesn't have the same pressures that he did last year when he led the league in total pressures for the entire season, including the playoffs. But I mean, what do you think? I mean, when you play, obviously offensively there are things that you are worried about this Packers team, but defensively, who are the guys in the last couple of years when you've played the Packers? You say, man, it seems like this guy's always making a play, or they can always count on this person to be in a good position, or somebody who you're like, damn, they're always bugging the Bears. They give the Bears like a hard time to go. Like, are there any players on defense for the past couple of years that you have noticed that about? And who do you think, Khalil Mack or Zadarius Smith, do you think they're like kind of neck and neck, or do you think one guy has the edge?
Yeah, I'll definitely say it's Darius Smith for sure.
Okay, wow. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, we got some unbiased.
When I say that, I mean like when we play you guys on defensive side,
Okay.
I think that's the person that we have to worry about. But when it when it comes to Khalil Mack versus Darius Smith, unfortunately, I feel like Khalil Mack is just a different animal when
Yeah.
he's fully healthy.
Yeah. That's fair.
We kind of saw it in 2018 when he was having a historical season. He was up there with the defensive player of the year. Unfortunately, we had Aaron Donald
I know.
happens to be in the same
Yeah.
generation, and I feel like Khalil Mack when he's healthy, I feel like he's probably up there with Aaron Donald as someone who's like very special in terms of being able to kind of become that one man wrecking crew.
One man, yeah.
Whole offense has to adjust around his play. I don't know what happened to his whole sack production. I feel like since Vic Fangio left, I feel like the defense hasn't been the same. I mean, it was kind of dominant in the earlier of 2019, and we thought that it was going to continue, but
Yeah.
our whole defense has kind of slipped, and and I feel like Khalil Mack secretly, because he's on injury report almost every other week.
Mm.
So
So you think he's got something that's nagging that is just it's affecting his production level, his ability to really he's not at 100%. You're saying.
I think so, because 2018 I saw a glimpse of what it's like to have like healthy Khalil Mack,
Yeah.
and that was very exciting to see. But it's just weird that I feel like Khalil Mack hasn't been the same. I feel like he had one game this year against Tampa Bay, and that's how we beat Tampa Bay, by Khalil Mack having that game-changing plays.
Yeah.
Fumbling, sagging quarterbacks at critical downs. We haven't seen, the Bears fans haven't seen that from Khalil Mack, and a lot of us are start questioning the value of Khalil Mack.
The trade, right? Because you guys gave up a shit ton to get him, and it was like,
He's a huge chunk of our
cap. Yeah, you're paying him a lot.
Down next year because the whole NFL didn't generate as much
Yeah.
as the year before. We have to kind of consider moving on from Khalil Mack, but
Wow, really? They might have to trade him, huh?
That's a possibility. It really depends. That's why this Packers game is so important for us. And I'm just like, as a sports fan, like, what more can you ask? Like, like a playoff type game in 17, arch rival. Like, for Bears fans, like, this is exciting.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I mean, even for Packers fans, to me, it's very exciting because I was even saying before the Bears went on this, like, when they first started this kind of streak, and when they started the streak, I think the Packers were I was like, okay, they might do well against the Packers, but then we kind of, it wasn't really that competitive. But I mean, now that they also were starting Foles, and now they're back to Trubisky. Now the offense is scoring a lot more points. The defense may not be performing as well, but I think again, this Bears team, like Packers fans, shouldn't sleep on this Bears team. And I know we're feeling really good coming off of our dominant performance over the Titans, but it's a divisional game, man. It's divisional games. Divisional games are different. So, and it's going to be in Chicago. I don't know if you guys are having any fans in the stands yet or anything like that, but still, man, I think this is going to be a really big game. I don't think it's going to be no kind of blowout. I think the Bears, their defense is going to find, like, we got to do it this time, guys. It's for Chicago. And we'll see if they can get in. And as far as like Mac and his production, that's interesting too, because I mean I would imagine still there would be teams that would be interested in him, and that he could still.
He's a special player.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he was Defensive Player of the Year, and it cost us like 2 first rounds.
I know. Oof, that's the thing, man. I'm kind of glad the Packers didn't do it now, honestly. At first, we were a little jealous, Packers fans, and then especially after Khalil Mack wrecked that first game, even though we still ended up winning, I was a little jealous. But like now, it's like, okay, I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not really so mad at it.
I feel like Khalil Mack would have been a crazy addition to the Packers. I mean, you guys have Aaron Rodgers kind of holding that offense, making sure. I mean, it's a productive offense as long as you guys have Aaron Rodgers there, and to have Khalil Mack on the other side, that's a scary team.
Hey man, but we like Za'Darius, man. We think Za'Darius and he. Hey, look. I will say this. I think Khalil Mack definitely. I think he is kind of a different animal, and I think he definitely shows up not just in the sacks on the sack sheet and in the stats, but I mean, I think he's really good against the run. I think he also he makes other plays too. Like he does get those forced fumbles. He's really good at like separating the quarterback from the ball. A lot of his sacks will be for fumbles, and he's very athletic, man. But I think, we're not mad if Mac is I just know statistically, and I don't get a chance to watch enough of the Bears games, or even I didn't watch a lot of the Vegas games back when they were the Raiders. But, but statistically the last 2 seasons, hey, it's been Za'Darius Smith. But, okay, so now let's talk. We talked a little about the keys to the game. We talked about some of the matchups. You mentioned Devontae Adams, and you think they're going to maybe try to put Fuller on him, or they're going to just let that the backup dude, or they're going to like – I mean –
that's why I feel like Packers can take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Defense.
Yeah.
Cobb tends to stay on just one side, and the other side is usually been taken care of by Jalen Johnson, who's a rookie who came in and played very well, but he's been injured. I don't think he's going to play this week, so we have to rely on the backup cornerbacks, Kendall Vildor and Duke Shelley. So
yeah, those sound like some names that can get fucked up by Aaron Rodgers. To be honest with you, they sound like they can be like some like.
So, they were going up against bottom tier offenses in the NFL. So I don't know.
Yeah.
He did pretty well against those bottom tier teams, but
as you're supposed to.
And you're going up against the number 1 seed NFC, who's we're playing different games. We're playing for the last seed just so we can get into the 7th seed.
Hey man.
You guys for the spot so you guys can get a bye. So I as a sports fan, I love it, dude. I really love this because you guys are going to be competitive because it's like winning a playoff game.
Yeah. No.
And secure that number 1 seed, and for us, we're just fighting for Matt Nagy's jobs and Ryan Pace's jobs. So.
And look, man, and I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that, and I want to talk about the expansion because I was thinking about that last night, and I think it is great. But just to kind of put a bow on this preview, the Week 17 preview, the keys of the game, the matchups and the outcome. I'm going to say, look, for me, I think the key to this game is, but as you said, Adams versus your 2 backups is going to be a matchup that the Packers are going to probably look to exploit. But now, by injury or whatever, you guys have a matchup that you can exploit. You know what I'm saying? We're missing now the best left tackle in football. Okay, this is still the best offensive line in football, I think, or one of the top 1 or 2 or 3 best offensive lines. But I mean, we're gonna have to shuffle some more guys around. We're gonna have to see just how good this team is when it comes to depth. But they have been all year long. We've had lots of injuries. We've had at least 4 or 5 different starting combinations at offense, and they haven't really missed a beat too much. But I mean, an All-Pro, potentially kind of Hall of Fame guy in David Bakhtiari. I mean, the way he's been playing since he started as a rookie. I mean, you can't really fucking ask for much more than that. But that's going to be something that you guys can look at. As far as my keys, though, I'm going to say that we can't let Mitchell Trubisky run around too much in this game. I think defensively we're starting to come on. The Packers are. The pass rush is starting to heat up again. The running game, I mean, we fucking held Derrick Henry to under 100 yards and 0 touchdowns. I did not see that coming. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, maybe the Packers did, but as a fan, I said if they can hold him to 150, I would be happy. I mean, they held him to 98 yards and 0 touchdowns. He really had 0 impact in the game. So I know this Montgomery kid is pretty nice, and he's been, like you said, the running game has picked up in the last couple of weeks, but all of a sudden now the Packers seem to have a pretty decent run defense, and all year long, Jair Alexander has been shutting guys down. I think he's having an all-pro season for cornerbacks. The Green Bay Packers, third-year man out of Louisville. I would be surprised if he doesn't get an all-pro nod this year, even though there are actually a lot of guys this year that have been playing really, really good football. But I think it's just going to be holding Trubisky in check, making them make those throws in the pocket, and just if the pressure can't get there to get some sacks, then we definitely want to try to get our hands on some passes. The past few weeks, Darnell Savage, that might be a name you come to know in fear over the next 5-6 years as a Bears fan. Darnell, don't call him average, Savage, as I like to call him. He's got 4. He's got because I was calling him average. I actually was calling him Darnell Average like at the beginning of the season, every time I tweeted about him or talked about him, because he wasn't making any plays. And now, granted, it was only his second year in the league, but he was so highly touted, and there was so much hype around this kid. He had the speed. He played all over the field in college. He went to Maryland University, which is where I'm from. So I was like happy to see a Maryland kid playing for the Packers. He's very smart, and he just has such instincts. It wasn't showing, but last couple of games, he's kind of brought it. He's got it all together. The last couple of games, 4 interceptions. He dropped another one last game. Could have been a pick 6. And I'll be interested to see if maybe he continues his hot streak, is able to get his hands on a Trubisky pass over the middle. Who knows? Maybe Mitch the bitch. Trubisky could give us one. Maserati Mitch. One of my fans said, one of my followers said they call him Maserati Mitch. I never heard that one. But okay, that's what you guys like, Maserati. Probably broken down Maserati in the shop. But hey, it's still a Maserati nonetheless. But
he's been very efficient in the last 4 games, and that's all we can hope for,
And honestly, I looked at the stats, and he's got a better winning percentage and shit like that than Deshaun Watson. They've been in the league, the same amount of time, and like he's got a winning percentage of games, and the offensively is not terrible, but he's like kind of what you want out of a game manager. He's like the ideal game manager, and game managing is not bad, people. We need to make game managing great again, okay? Make game management great again, because it's not bad to be a game manager if you have the rest of the pieces around you and you have the right quarterback, coach, OC, whatever relationship to make it thrive. But really, a game manager is somebody who just doesn't turn the ball over, keeps you in the game throughout the end, and basically it's like when you have a really balanced offense. And I think balance is good. Even the Packers, for the last fucking 4 games, they've been balanced as shit running the ball, and they've been some of their better performances. They've had their best performances of the year, really, to me, being a more balanced team. Yeah, man. All right, yeah, we can do that. Look, man, me and Mike, we're gonna take a quick little break, and then we're gonna jump back on at the top of the hour. It's 1:56 on the East Coast. What's Packing Sports Show with special guest Michael, the Bears fan. Let's see. Let me put up a little. Let me add image. Yo, we're going. We're on. We going. Take a break. What's packing?
Are we on break?
Yeah, but we're still live though. So watch yourself. Don't say nothing crazy. This is actually where I need to run. Can I just run it? Oh shoot, yeah. I think I'm running my 60-second ad. I'm just gonna run it. I'm gonna do thumbnails. I'll mute that. I'm gonna see if I can. All right.
Godchild.
All right, man. Shit, and I fucking lost the damn. Bro, I'm not sure why this drink. Why is we doing this, man? Not really sure why this be happening. Why I thought it was my frame rates and stuff, but 30 frames per second. I got 0 drop frame, but for some reason the video is not there. It's not working for me right now. Try one more time. Game capture. Get this going. Specific window. We're gonna get the Zoom meeting. Okay. Yeah, it's not there. So.
Like one quick thing. I feel like we do better when we don't script shit and just go on. You know, just talk normally.
Yeah.
Because in the past, like we would try to do all the research, do stats, and I feel like just the conversation doesn't naturally flow as like we are doing right now.
Yeah, man. So look, man. I guess I'm gonna just have to freaking. I'm just gonna have to end the stream because I can't get this thing to come back up. And I've been trying to work on this, but